What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing some more rank 9 battles on the road to rank 10. It's proving very difficult. First match here is against 9ball 777, leading with the Kyogre against his Melmetal. Oh, as we've seen in the previous video, this is quite a favorable matchup for Kyogre, although it will require some shields, and it gets pretty close in the 2-shield situation. Our opponent's going to bring out Kyogre here, and we're going to go for the Thunder. If it is not shielded, it's going to do super effective damage. Our opponent does shield there, unfortunately for us. So I'm going to switch out into our Dialga. Yes, we have finally invested into a Dialga. However, it is not a best buddy Dialga, so that is really going to hurt us. Our opponent goes for a Thunder there, which is going to be resisted. And this time he's going to go for the Surf. A little bit of lag. It's going to do less damage than the Thunder. I'm going to go for this Iron Head here, which will be resisted by the Kyogre, but is enough to KO in this situation. With one Dragon Breath, opponent is going to bring out his own Dialga, which is Best Buddy. Now, because our Dialga is not Best Buddy, our Dragon Breaths are only going to be doing 4 damage as opposed to the opponent's Dialga doing 5 damage per Dragon Breath, because of the attack stat being higher than our defense and our attack stat being lower than their defense. So it is quite unfortunate not to have a Best Buddy Dialga, but it is what it is. Our opponent brings out the Melmetal here. We go for the Surf. This is not going to KO, but it's going to leave the Melmetal in the red, although he chooses to burn his shield. So now shields are down. The Melmetal is going to take us out here. Uses a Rock Slide, so that's very good because it doesn't debuff itself, but we have the Rhyperior in the back. I try to go for a farm down. We're unable to. This superpower is going to do a lot of damage, but we will survive it. And we have superpower ready for the Dialga that comes back in, and this is going to be a good game there as we take that win. And moving on into the next game here against Hervin Omar. And he's going to lead with the Melmetal. Melmetal is a very popular lead in Master League, so I don't mind leading with Kyogre because it does counter the Melmetal pretty well, and it doesn't have too many weaknesses unless you're facing a Dialga in the lead or a Giratina Origin. Unfortunately, those are two very common leads, so it's pretty impossible to find a perfect lead, but Kyogre is pretty good. I'm going to go for the Surf here and almost take out the Melmetal. It's going to get off one more Rock Slide here. Actually chooses to go for the superpower there, and it's going for back-to-back superpowers, so this second one isn't going to KO because it's been debuffed, and we'll be able to KO with the Waterfall. However, we are down a shield, so that Melmetal performed very well there. We see a Dialga come out. This Surf is definitely not going to be shielded, and we can bring in our Rhyperior in here now, and our opponent switches on to Giratina. We're going to bring in our Dialga. And this is pretty much the perfect line for this team. As long as you win switch advantage, you can line up the Rhyperior and the Dialga perfectly against the opponent's Giratina and Dialga, and you will be able to win this matchup. So we just go for the Iron Head here. Even though we are down a shield, we're just going to commit to farming down with the Mud Slap here, and our opponent is going to go down with 2 shields. So it just goes to show how important switch advantage is here. And moving along into the next match against Yathe112, who is going to lead with the Rhyperior. Now this is the dream situation for Kyogre in the lead spot. Have to instantly switch out. He brings in his own Kyogre. Now I could go for the Surf here obviously, but I'm going to farm up a little and bring in the Dialga, who's going to have a much more favorable match against the Kyogre here. All you have to be afraid of really is Blizzard. And most Kyogres are not going to be able to get to a Blizzard in time. And it's pretty obvious as well when it is a Blizzard, so it's only useful in the no shield situation pretty much. We are going to KO the Kyogre here. Expect the Rhyperior to come back in and farm down. And because we farmed up a little bit of energy on the Kyogre, we could instantly go for the Surf, which will have to be shielded. And our opponent will probably look to switch out here into the Dialga. We bring in our own Rhyperior here. So again, Master League is just a league where it's very dependent on winning the lead, and if you lose the lead, depending on how hard of a counter it is very hard to come back from in this league. So we're going to go for the superpower here on this Rhyperior. That's going to do a lot of damage, and our opponent's going to have to shield the second one, and the Kyogre can pretty much come in here and just farm down with Waterfall. We still have a shield left, and our Kyogre has pretty good health on it as well, so we will shield here, and this will be a good game. Next matchup is against Miwa091901. And we are going to leave the Kyogre against the Kyogre, so a mirror match here. And we are running Thunder, so we're in a pretty good position. Now, usually I like to build up for the Thunder, see if my opponent throws a Surf out first. However, they do not, so I'm just going to go for the Thunder here, see what happens. Our opponent does choose to shield, so at this point I assume that she also has a Thunder because we CMP tied, so I shield. However, it's only a Surf. So not very good for me because I did use up more energy. And now I'm kind of afraid this is going to be a Thunder again, so I do shield, but it's only another Surf. So at this point I realize I have to go for my own Surf because it doesn't really make sense to go for another Thunder. She will likely shield, she does, and we actually managed to beat her to another Surf. And it's not enough to KO, and unfortunately for us, this will KO, and it's actually a Thunder, which is pretty interesting. Surprised she didn't go for that earlier, but it did work out for her. She wins switch advantage, and we bring out the Dialga. She's going to bring in the Togekiss, and because shields are down, this is actually not as bad of a situation for us as it could be because this Iron Head will go through unshielded. And I bring in my Rhyperior to take this hit, which is likely an Ancient Power. It's only an Air Lace actually. They switch into Dialga, and our Rhyperior is going to have a very good matchup here. This superpower is going to KO, and the Togekiss comes back in. The Mud Shots are not doing anything. However, we are able to get to a superpower, and even though this is going to do pretty much nothing to the Togekiss, it is enough to KO, and that's a good game there. And the next matchup is against Azuro Gyarados. And once again, we will lead with our Kyogre, and the opposing trainer will bring in a Togekiss. So this is a pretty good matchup for Kyogre here. We will be able to get to 2 Surfs. Opponent chooses to switch out into Dialga, so I quickly try to bring in the Rhyperior here. You have to be quick on this switch because you do not want to face 2 Iron Heads. So this is the first Iron here. We are going to shield and we're going to commit to the farm down here. Have energy stored up. If the Togekiss comes back in, we're going to go for the Rock Wrecker. And the reason I go for the Rock Wrecker is just because I don't want to take the risk that she doesn't shield. She pretty much has to shield the Rock Wrecker there. And even if we try to bait with the superpower, it's kind of pointless because we will debuff ourselves. So it's just better to go for Rock Wreckers there. We managed to get 2 off, so we burn both shields. Bring back in the Kyogre here. This likely will not KO, so I'm going to take the Ancient Power. Go for the Surf here. Actually, we're going to go for the Thunder, which will KO 100% here. So the Thunder actually is the correct move there because it will KO, unlike the Surf. They bring in their Giratina, and we're going to match it with the Dialga, and because we have a shield, this is going to be a very dominant win. And we could just pretty much farm down here, although the Iron Head would be enough to KO. And we go for the Draco Meteor actually, so this is a bit of an overkill here. And that's a good game. And next matchup here is against Uchi94. And they're going to leave the Dialga, so this is not a good spot for Kyogre. I switch into the Rhyperior here, and they switch into a Conkeldurr, so not the best situation for us right now. These superpowers will do pretty decent damage to Conkeldurr, and we have been debuffed. And because of that, we get countered down, so this is not good. This Conkeldurr has a lot of energy. We fortunately bring in the Dialga, who's able to Dragon Breath before he could get off a charge move, which is very good for us. But unfortunately for us, this is matched by their own Dialga, who is best buddied, so he is going to be doing more damage than we are. And we're not in a favorable spot here. This Iron Head will be shielded, and we're going to let the Dialga go down here. Bring in the Kyogre, who is met by a Giratina, and this is pretty much a good game there. So in this spot, I think switching into the Rhyperior, it's not what I usually like to do. I tend to just go for the Kyogre, try to get off 2 Surfs, bring the Dialga into the red, if not burn a shield, and just play from there, because if we switch into Rhyperior, as you see here, we have no counters after, and we just get put into really bad spots. So in the following games, I do play this a little bit differently. We'll start here with Rick Flareon. And he's going to lead with Dialga again. So as you can see, this is a exact same situation as the last matchup. And again, it is a best buddy Dialga. So I can never bring in my own Dialga here because it will lose the mirror match. So I'm pretty much playing this a lot different here. Choosing to stay with the Kyogre. This is only an Iron Head, which we will survive. And we'll be able to get to another Surf as a result. If they chose to go for a Draco Meteor or Thunder, we would of course faint. And as you can see here, we almost even end up winning that matchup, so we could bring in either the Dialga or the Rhyperior here and commit to a farm down. I choose to go for Rhyperior. If to shield the Iron Head, of course. If we brought in Dialga, we probably would not have to shield there. And they're going to match us up with their Garchomp. Gonna go for the superpower here. Now Garchomp isn't the best Pokemon I'd like to see in this situation. And here we were hoping it would be a Sand Tomb, but it's actually an Earthquake, so we will get KO'd. But fortunately, we're able to Dragon Breath down. And they bring in a Mewtwo. And this is a very interesting situation. Our opponent does have 2 shields versus R1. And this may have been a spot, to be honest, where I should have considered just farming down with Dragon Breath instead of going for these Iron Heads. And in this spot, it kind of doesn't make sense to go for the Charge Moves just because our opponent does have 2 shields, so we may as well just go for the Dragon Breath damage. We did farm down, and we ended up winning that very close match. So GG's there. And the next matchup's against Fion 18. And they're going to leave Machamp. So a lot of these opponents are looking for the Dialga leads. Machamp is going to get to Cross Chops very quickly. And the damage will add up. I'm not going to shield this first one. Our opponent switches into Giratina Altered, so I will bring in my Dialga. And this Dragon Breath is going to do a lot of damage here against the Giratina. This Dragon Claw is going to be super effective, but we could withstand a couple of them. But they will add up because they charge so quickly with that. Oh, it's actually running Dragon Breath as well. So it's not going to charge as quickly the charge moves, but the Dragon Breath is going to do pretty good damage to Dialga. And this Iron Head will be enough to KO. And we are down a shield. But we have switch advantage. Opponent brings in a Machamp. We're able to get off this Iron Head, which will KO. If not shielded up. It is shielded. We switch into Kyogre. And the Surf will KO if not shielded. Our opponent chooses to burn both shields there. And we're doing a lot of heavy waterfall damage here. I'm going to let it go down. Actually, it's not going to faint. But we did not get off the Surf, unfortunately. This Machamp may have a Cross Chop ready, but we do have a shield. I'm going to let Dialga come in and take this hit. As a sacrifice, bring in Machamp. Opponent switches out, and we are in a very good spot here because we still have a shield remaining. So it's a good thing we didn't bring in that the Rhyperior's face that Machamp, because we would have to shield that Cross Chop, and the Iron Head from this Dialga would have KO'd, so we would have been in a bad spot. But the superpower will be enough to KO the Machamp here. So good game there. And this next matchup is going to be against 1670 Ezide. And he's going to lead with the Melmetal. So again, Melmetal and Kyogre is a pretty good matchup for us. We're going to always take the first charge move because normally they do not run Thunder. He switches into Giratina Origin. We're going to bring in our Dialga to counter this. This is a Shadow Ball, so it's going to do a lot of damage. And we're going to try to farm down. The Iron Head comes in. We're going to use that charge move. See if we could burn a shield. We do. So at this point, we're forced to shield as well. And it's just an ominous win. Can we farm down with the Dragon Breath? Yes, we can. But that Giratina did a lot of damage to our Dialga. Kyogre comes in here. We're not able to get to the Iron Head. Going to bring in our own Kyogre here. And if this is a Surf, it will not KO. So we're going to take that chance. And we need this Thunder to go through, or else we are in big trouble with the Rhyperior in the back. And our opponent lets it go through, probably expecting a Surf. Extremely fortunate for us. We bring in the Rhyperior here, and because that Thunder went through, we are going to be able to win this matchup. Opponent chooses to shield there. If this is a superpower, it will not KO. We'll do a lot of damage because we've been debuffed, however. I try to commit to a farm down, that's not going to happen. So I shield up, but I will farm down from this point. And we have a charge move ready. No, we do not, but it's only a Mud Slap to kill that Kyogre, so good game there. Moku Mach 18 is next. And once again, we see the Dialga lead, which is not what we want to see with Kyogre, so we're going to stay in here, just go for 2 Surfs, and bring this Dialga as low as we possibly can, and play from there. So this Dialga will go for an Iron Head here, most likely, and we will be able to survive that, and be able to reach 1 more Surf, which will put this Dialga into the red. So it's not too bad of a situation. Actually, we get the shield, which is even better. And we could bring in Rhyperior here. Of course, because it is the best buddy Dialga, we cannot bring in our own Dialga, unfortunately. So we will shield this Iron Head. He brings in a Groudon, which is quite interesting because these superpowers will be pretty decent against Groudon. And we, of course, have to shield this Earthquake because it's going to be super effective. But we are doing a lot of damage, and we will be able to KO this Groudon if it does not shield. It does. And I am going to have to let this go through because we have no more shields left, but I do not mind seeing the Groudon waste its energy there because that was a big threat to our Dialga. And they're going to bring in Mewtwo now. And because shields are down, I'm trying to go for the Draco Meteor. If this is a Focus Blast, it would KO. It's a flamethrower, which is also going to be super effective. We lag a little bit there, unfortunately, so this Mewtwo gets off a little bit more damage on us. We go for the Draco Meteor. And this Dialga in the back has no HP left, so we end up winning that game. GG's there. And as we claim our rewards here, we do end up going 4 or 5, and our rating goes up to 2841, so our highest so far. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.